It is a bright, sunny, late summer afternoon here at Tom Burt Field at Los Altos High School. And we're going to be seeing a great opening season match between the visiting Fremont Firebirds and the home team Los Altos Eagles. The last time these two teams met was on October 22nd, 2016. That's 2 years ago on a much cloudier day right here at Los Altos. And the Eagles came away with a 51-16 victory over the Firebirds. They did not meet last year. And this is the season opener for both teams. If there was one player that you had to watch today on both sides, we'll start with the Fremont side. It would be Clayton Fonseca, number 42. He's a linebacker, 5'9", 187 pounds. He's coming to the varsity after a year on the JV squad. He's had some great backfield penetrations in scrimmage, and he also moonlighted as a running back in the same scrimmage game this past week. As far as the Eagles are concerned, watch out for number 78, Tyler St. Laurent. He's a guard and also doubles as a defensive tackle. At 6 feet, 280 pounds, he's returning to the varsity this year, and he may be the most powerful run blocker on this Eagle team. He's tenacious, and he doesn't often miss his blocking assignments. My name is Mike Messner, and I'll be telling you the story as it happens here at Tom Burt Field. We'll be right back to the action in just a second or two.
Mobile massage company, and we bring massage therapy and yoga to the corporate workplace. We started this business in order to bring more awareness to corporations for health and wellness. This is a nice perk that they can offer their employees, and it says, hey, we care about your well-being. We look forward to bringing massage therapy and yoga into your corporate workplace.
Welcome back to Tom Burt Field at Los Altos High School. My name is Mike Messner, and I'll be telling the story as it happens. We're just getting ready for the coin toss between the Los Altos Eagles and the Fremont Firebirds. We should know the verdict of that very shortly. I said in my opening spot, this is the opening game for both of these teams. So I'll tell you a little bit about them now as we're preparing to take the field here. Fremont comes into this off of a 6-4 overall record in 2017. They were 4-2 in their league, the El Camino League, and finished 59th in the overall CCS rankings. Their head coach this year is Adam Harold. He's a first-year head coach for the Firebirds after coming over from Monte Vista and taking the reins from his predecessor, Nelson Gifford. For Los Altos, it's a much different story. The Eagles had a 2-8 overall record in 2017. They went, unfortunately, 0-6 in their league, which is the De Anza League. That's the other major division in the Central Coast section. Their head coach is Trevor Pruitt, and he's been the Los Altos coach since 2013. We can see the captains headed out onto the field right now. It's probably worth mentioning here that the Firebirds have 2 sophomores, 16 juniors, and 19 seniors on their team. They have 24 players that are brand new to the varsity. 14 of those were on the JV last year, so it's a fairly fresh Firebird squad. For the Eagles, they've got 5 sophomores, 14 juniors, and 24 seniors. 28 of the men on their roster are returning varsity players. 21 of their players are new to the varsity. 3 of those were on the JV last year, and Brennan Hanley was on the JV, and he was actually a JV team captain for the JV squad for the Eagles. So quite a different makeup between these two teams. So they're calling the captains in. They're going to be doing the coin toss fairly shortly. Los Altos will be defending the north goal to begin our contest today. I'll be giving you the starters and what they're doing as we proceed. Right now the captains shaking hands at midfield. Good sportsmanship is something that you're going to see in every sport, around the CCS and around high school football, but particularly high school football, mainly because of some of the inherent dangers in the sport. Some of the news reports have indicated that enrollment in football programs is down a little bit out of concern for concussions, which is completely understandable. But we do have enough to have a contest today, so it ought to be a good one between the Firebirds and the Eagles. This is the only time they're scheduled to meet this year. You can see the Firebirds taking the field. Once again, they're under their new head coach, Adam Harold.
All right. Now that we're done with some SATs today, maybe we can play some football.
Fremont representing the De Anza League in the Central Coast section. Los Altos representing the other, the El Camino League. Los Altos will be kicking off. Little bit of a breeze today, but probably nothing that'll impact the kicking game. Mario Lopez, a senior kicker, and off he goes. Oh, in and out of the hands of the receiver there. And that will count as a touchback, although that did get the attention of the Los Altos special teams there. And who can blame them, because they thought they might have smelled blood in the water there before the Firebirds offense even got onto the field. So we're just underway here at Tom Burt Field. Firebirds have it 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line after the touchback. Snap is taken, handoff there, and the Eagles are all over it. They snuffed that run out right away. That was Alexis Buenrostro under center there, number 3. He's a senior. And it looks like it was a loss of at least 1, maybe 2 on the play, so that'll bring a 2nd down for the Firebirds. One of the people that I suggested you look out for, who might have been in on that, was, well, it may have been Tyler St. Laurent. I didn't see, but we'll see what happens here on the 2nd down. Out of the shotgun again. Pass, and it's picked off by Los Altos. That's Sam Aoki. He's a senior quarterback, and I think that might have been tipped also. So Los Altos has it back within the 1st minute of action in this, on a pass that I'm pretty sure Buenrostro would like that one back, because Aoki was never fooled. He was right there from the very beginning. And so now the Los Altos Eagles take over with just 1 minute gone in the 1st quarter. Somebody jumped, and quarterback Rocky Hidalgo realized he wasn't going to get anywhere with that one. That was a false start on the offense, so that will dampen the spirit of the Eagle players just a little bit. Still excellent position, though, for the Eagles as they come in. I didn't see who the call was on, but in any case, now they're facing down 1st and 15 on the Firebird call at the Firebird 32. Hidalgo under center. Handoff, and that one doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately. Ben Parker, who's a senior running back, and he was wrapped up before he could take more than 2 steps there. Jonathan Dominguez, a sophomore defensive end for the Firebirds, made the tackle there. So that'll push the Eagles back in even further. Looks to be about a 2nd and 17, maybe 18 for the Eagles. That's Edgar Barajas out wide to the left. In motion is Ben Parker. Hidalgo's pass is broken up there. I think that may have been Colby Feliciano on the breakup there. Defensive lineman, a senior at 6'2" and 250. So he's a big guy, and he came away with a broken up pass if it was him who had the hand on the ball there. That'll bring up a 3rd and 17 for the Eagles. So the opportunity that Los Altos saw in that opening, or in the opening defensive series, may not be getting them anywhere. So we'll see what Trevor Pruitt dials up for this particular play. 2 men in the backfield. That was Dale Sims there, number 26. He's registered as a fullback. It's kind of interesting that Los Altos is using fullbacks. It's a position that's kind of fallen out of favor at all levels of competitive football. Kyle Juszczyk of the 49ers notwithstanding. So that'll bring up a 4th down, and Los Altos is going to take another shot at it, or they appear to, out of the shotgun. Here comes Hidalgo. He's under pressure. Long play there, and in and out. That was over the head of his intended receiver, who was well covered there. I think that may have been Ben Parker that he was looking for. And I think that may have been Gabriel Diaz who was on coverage there. So the Firebirds take over in their own territory, and they may have dodged a bullet there from this very solid Los Altos offense. Out of the shotgun now. Low snap, and he keeps it. Trying to run around the end, and he did pick up some yards there, close to a 1st down by Buenrostro, who, in addition to his quarterbacking duties, will occasionally double as a wide receiver and even as a cornerback. So a very versatile young man there is Alexis Buenrostro, and he's a graduating senior this year, so he may have a future ahead of him in college ball. Only time will tell. Buenrostro coming back onto the field. Whistles going all over the place. And would appear that Los Altos has called a timeout. So Trevor Pruitt didn't like something he saw, or maybe he just changed his mind about something, but we'll see what Los Altos comes out with in their defensive scheme. Los Altos High School just began classes this past week. Monday was the first day back, and I was fortunate enough to see an awful lot of the young men that I taught last year and a few that I'm teaching this year, and they were very excited about this new year and about welcoming the new faces onto the squad, and they just, if I had to sum it up, they just wanted to get out there and bust out of that classroom and get on the field and get it started with. And that's exactly what's happening today. Now both teams coming back into formation. Buenrostro out of the shotgun. Takes it, and it looks like he wanted to keep it also, and the Eagles were having none of it. That's Ben Parker. Usually comes in as a strong safety. He is a senior, but there is a marker down. Trevor Pruitt signaling that it may have been against Fremont. The officials having a little bit of a discussion about it. And it is against Fremont. Looks to be a 5-yard penalty. And we're off again. I don't see what the specific foul was. But in any case, it's now 2nd and 10 for the Firebirds. From their own, call it the 32. Buenrostro again out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Hands that off to, I believe that was Elijah Echeverria, a running back, a 5'7", 185 senior. He did pick up a couple, though. That'll bring 3rd and long for the Firebirds. The run defense for this Eagle squad is very, very solid. They can read most opponents like a page in print. And so far, that has been the case for the Los Altos defense. So we'll see what happens. Under 8 minutes to go in the first period here. Los Altos did get an interception off of Buenrostro a little earlier on, but they couldn't make it stick, and they had to give up the ball on downs after an attempt by Hidalgo to, I think, penetrate the red zone there. Okay, the official's having a little bit of a talk here. Trevor Pruitt's not quite sure what's going on, so he's going to get an explanation. It looks like it's been sort of sorted out. So here come the Firebirds. That's Edgar Barajas telling the Eagles, get ready, because here they come. Pass over to the left flat. And that receiver was hit hard by the Los Altos defense. That might have been that was Freddie Reyes, who was on the junior varsity last year. It's his first year on the varsity for the Firebirds. He's a junior tight end. And it looks like the Firebirds did get the first down on that one. So wise decision there to that pass to the left flat. Some substitutions now for the Eagles. I beg your pardon, that is Eagles' ball. Apparently a fumble there. Hidalgo now under center. So Los Altos now having scored 2 turnovers off of the Firebirds. That's not going to make the Fremont coaching staff very happy. And there, with a nice dash through the middle of the line, up the gut. That was Ben Parker again. Parker's done quite a bit of running so far. Plays running back, wide receiver, and strong safety. So again, another very versatile player for the Eagles. That's spotted, I think, at the Firebird 40-yard line. Hidalgo handoff. That was to Dale Sims, the fullback. And I think they've got the first down. First down for the Eagles. Los Altos, their running game now being a little bit more productive at this point than their passing game. We've only seen Hidalgo throw 1 pass so far, and that was overthrown going for 6. Now Hidalgo with 2 men in the backfield in an I formation. Handoff again. Parker stopped, believe that was Parker. I believe it was, and I think he may have been stopped right at the line of scrimmage. May have gotten a yard, but it doesn't look like it. Bring up 2nd and 10. Fremont is known for having a fairly stout defensive line, and that's why they had the record that they racked up last year. I think they did miss the playoffs, but they did have a respectable showing. Now handoff, and Parker is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That was Mahake Tulakatau. My apologies if I got that name wrong. He's a 6'0", 198-pound strong safety who managed to get into the backfield. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 for the Eagles. Out of the shotgun now. Here's Hidalgo looking. And, ooh, that was almost picked off. That was Matthew Escobedo on the defense there. He's another first-timer on the Fremont varsity, but there is a flag on the field. That may redeem some of the dignity from that long pass. It's a nice read there by Escobedo. And it is against Fremont. So that's going to, looks like it's going to bring up at the Fremont 22-yard line. Or 23, perhaps. Now Hidalgo getting some instructions from his coaching staff. He's coming back onto the field. And here they come. I'm wondering if they're going to go to their ground game again now that they are within the red zone or close to the red zone. And draw play. Pass over, and, oh, just dropped there. That was Ari Guzman, who had it and lost it. Ari really had that one and just wanted to turn the corner way too quickly. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 10. But it does show, that last play, that Hidalgo does have an arm and that he can hit receivers. They just have to do their part. 2nd down now for the Eagles. Hidalgo. Ooh. That was Juan Marin Mello, a wide receiver there. He's a senior and somebody that I taught last year. So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10. And the Eagles have got to start getting a little frustrated at this point. Here they come. 2 wide receivers, 2 men in the backfield. Hidalgo. And again dropped. That time that was Juan Marin Mello who couldn't hold on to that one. And he's not going to be happy with that one. That'll bring up a 4th down. And another flag is down. And it looks to be against Los Altos, and that's going to add a little insult to some self-inflicted injury there by the Eagles. So that may put the Eagles out of field goal range at this point. And I would have to think that the Eagles would probably kick it away at this point. That was a holding call. that backed the Eagles up. So, and Hidalgo under center on 4th down. Again, split backfield, man in motion, one wide receiver out to the left, and screen pass, and may not be enough. Ben Parker did make the reception and had a nice scamper afterwards, but it may be a little short. And here come the Eagles. It's a 4th down play. Hidalgo out of the shotgun. They need 17 to keep the ball. And he's over the middle, and it's out of reach of his intended receiver. I think that was Marin Mello one more time. But that one, not so much him as just a not well-placed ball. So the Firebirds take over again in their own territory. We have 3:21 to go here in the first quarter. And the Firebirds get the ball for the 3rd time in this game. Still no score. Both teams, since this is their first time seeing each other in 2 years, and the first time either team has been on the field in a regulation game. Out of the shotgun. Oh, and the ball's loose. And I think Fremont may have come up with it. All right, there is an Eagle player down on the field right now. We'll have a break in the action. We'll be back at Tom Burt Field. No score between the Eagles and the Firebirds. The injured Eagle player appears to be Emilio Rios, number 45. He's on his way to the locker room. Both teams took a knee there, and we're back with the action. Fly to the left flat, and pass was caught. Looks to be a short gain. And that was Alexis Buenrostro who got the reception there, but not much gain off that one. There's Tyler St. Laurent, number 78, lined up for the Eagles. He's the Eagle player to watch today. Not one who misses a lot of assignments. Big old man, I'll tell you that. Ball is snapped, rolling, looking around, and couldn't find anybody to talk to. Oh, no, he's still up. But he wasn't going to escape for long there. I believe that was Brian Arcia, the junior quarterback and linebacker who's new to the varsity this year. He rolled left and looked like he might be able to get out of one of those, but now we're looking at a 4th and 35. Maybe 45, depending on whether you believe the scoreboard or not. And it looks like Fremont's coming in to punt. Ari Guzman back deep for the Eagles, number 7. Ooh, muffed snap, but he is able to get the kick away. And here comes Ben Parker on the run back, and he's coming around the left side. He looks like he has some room, and he is able to bring it back to about the Fremont 15. Amazing run back there. And so the Eagles catch another break. Let's see if they're able to follow it up this time. We have a marker again. The officials trying to figure out who that was on, and it might be against Los Altos. I see the marker back at the 40. It's in Los Altos. That was a holding penalty against the Eagles. So 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Firebird 42. Two wideouts, okay, out of the shotgun. Hidalgo, number 7 in motion, hands off there. Some pressure there in the backfield, but he was able to make a couple of yards there. That was Ari Guzman on the run there. Ari is not the biggest kid on the squad, 5'4", 155, but he managed to scamper. Got a gain of about 3 there. That'll bring up a 2nd and 7 for Los Altos. So far, we've seen more success with the Los Altos running game than we have with their passing game. And they have not had to kick the ball yet, except for the opening kickoff. Hidalgo now hands it. That give is to Dale Sims. Sims, as time is ticking down on the first quarter, the Eagles may just let it know they're going to try to get one more play off. And here's Hidalgo. Draw a play, and he's trying to run around the left end. Flags down as time expires in the first quarter. But it's the end of the first quarter. We have no score between the Firebirds and the Eagles here at Tom Burt Field, as these two teams feeling each other out, trying to figure out what they're going to do in this season opener. We'll be back in just a moment. We're back at Tom Burt Field at the beginning of the second quarter. Of course, the play has now shifted directions. The Eagles still have the ball, and the referee sees something they don't like. Can't tell. Maybe there's too many men on the field. Hard to tell from this angle. Now the Fremont defensive line doesn't think that there's a penalty, and apparently there wasn't one, so off we go. Hidalgo takes the snap, stands in the pocket. That ball was overthrown there. Ari Guzman was the intended receiver there. So the ball goes over on downs to the Firebirds, and so they've got it on their own 35 or 36-yard line. Quarterback Brian Arcia will take the snap. A little bit of a high snap, and the handoff. That was to Elijah Echeverria. And that running back, all 5'7", 185 pounds of him, as a return member of this squad, varsity for Fremont, picks up 7, maybe 8 yards. Make that 9. And again, it's to Echeverria. And he did get the first down and maybe tack on another yard on top of that. So now Fremont reverting more to its running game now as we start the second quarter. That'll move the chains and give Adam Harold a little bit of a chance to scheme as they head into close to Eagle territory. Out of the shotgun, standing in the pocket, and wants to throw, and he's not going to get anywhere with that. He's dumped for a loss of 5 or 6 in the backfield. That was Hayden Klisch, who's another Los Altos player you're going to want to watch today. Hayden is a returning varsity player, and he's had a lot of great penetration from the left side to stop the run in the scrimmage that these Eagles had against Sacred Heart Prep this last week. So he's another one that you want to keep your eye on this year, this game, and all season, really. And now trying desperately to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to fall about 3 yards short. So again, the Eagles defense was able to have a party in the backfield, as we used to say in Stanford football. So they're facing a 3rd and 12 in their own territory. And we still don't have a score here in this, but all you can say is that it's opening game, and these teams are trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out their own scheme. They're trying to figure out the chemistry that they have with one another, the players are. And they're certainly now trying to figure out their opponents. Firebirds trying to figure out the Eagles and vice versa. 3rd and 12 now for the Firebirds. Out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. And, and had it and lost it. That was Michael Ferrantino, a senior wide receiver, who had it and dropped it. And that's going to be a very long distance, and it looks as if the Firebirds might be looking to kick it away. They are in punt formation, so it looks as if they're going to get rid of this one. Oh, and again the punt, or the snap there. And here's Ben. He's got a block. And he's knocked out of bounds, but not before he crosses midfield. So that'll give some really nice field position for the Eagles. For the second time in 2 punts there, the long snapper for the Firebirds did not make a clean snap, so the punter had to field it after bouncing. And he did manage to get the kick away, but the Eagles answered back with a nice run back. And apparently Parker went out of bounds a little bit earlier than I thought he had. So the Eagles have it close to midfield, not on the side of the midfield they wanted, but very close to it. Coming down to about the 9-minute mark here in this first half. I believe Hidalgo's back in at quarterback. He takes the snap and had an intended receiver. I think that was Ari Guzman, and that ball was short. Fremont might have gotten a piece of that one. Second and 10 now for Los Altos. Hidalgo again out of the shotgun with one running back there, or maybe the fullback, and he's blindsided. That blitz coming in from the right side, and that was Morris Patterson, a senior defensive lineman. And poor old Rocky never saw that one coming, unfortunately, and so that's going to be a loss of 5. That is the first time that the Firebirds have gotten to Rocky Hidalgo in this game. I think that might have been a failed assignment, because I don't think Patterson was blocked at all on that one. Pass there and caught at about midfield. That's going to gain back about 3 of the yards from the original starting position, but it's still going to bring a 4th and long for the Eagles. And it looks like they're going to kick it away. Back to receive for the Firebirds. I think that's Alexis Benrostro. I think he is the lone man back. Don't know how far they're going to be able to kick it there. Ooh. And Mario Lopez able to get the kick away. It is a bit shorter than he'd wanted, I'm sure. But it ends up at about the Fremont 22-yard line, and that's where the Firebirds will take over possession. Both teams still trying to get a handle on their offense. We have seen no points being put on the board here so far this afternoon. And here come the Eagles to the line. Firebirds are also lined up there. Quarterback taking it out of the shotgun once again. Looks like 3 wide receivers, maybe a 4 wide receivers, or 1 tight end. Rolling over to his right, flushed out of the pocket, but he's going to extend the play and get out for gain of maybe 4. Arcia, this is his first year on the varsity, but he was on the JV last year. He's also known to play linebacker when he's needed in a defensive scheme. So 2nd and 5 now for the Firebirds. Arcia out of the shotgun. Takes and handoff there, and there is some penetration, and I don't know if he got back to the line of scrimmage there. No, apparently he picked up a couple, but hard to tell from this angle exactly how many. Brought down almost immediately there. That brings up a 3rd down for the Firebirds. 3rd and 3. It's on their 31-yard line. Now it's 3 wide receivers to the left. 1 to the right. I think we can look for a pass play here. And no, they do run it, and he breaks a couple of tackles and gets into Eagle territory down at about the Eagle 45. And that'll be a 1st down. That was number 5, I believe, there, the running back. Tulakitau. And that one is going to be called back because the offense did something they shouldn't have done. And that's going to negate a nice piece of work there by the Firebirds running back.
Firebirds was still able to get a 1st down out of that.
1st and 10 now, but not quite, but still in their own territory. Kind of a Pyrrhic victory there for the Firebirds. Snap and draw play, and now the quarterback's going to keep it himself, and he's very close to another 1st down.
Very close to another 1st down. Let's see where they spot this.
That's Arcia again.
So he said Brian was able to carry that ball all the way through.
And it would appear to be a 1st down for Fremont as they move the chains. And we're just at under the 6-minute mark here in the 2nd quarter. So now Fremont trying to make something happen, largely on the ground, despite the wide receivers that tend to be lying up and despite the shotgun formation. And again, and a long one headed down there and over the head and out of the reach of the wide receiver. That'll bring up a 2nd and 10. You can see that Los Altos is trying to pressure to their left, meaning that Arcia has to roll to his right. And he's been lucky to get some passes off, but he hasn't had a whole lot of luck with people holding on to them so far. So maybe the ground game was something that they wanted to get away from, but we'll see what happens as we now come towards the 5-minute mark of this second quarter. Shotgun again. Okay, hands off. That's to Maake Tolakitao. And he bulls his way for a short gain, it looks like. How much? Yeah, call that a gain of 4. 3rd and 6. And they do get into Eagle territory this time, if only just. You can hear the Los Altos cheerleaders trying to get their Eagles into this game or trying to hold back the Firebirds. Shotgun again now by Arcia. And Arcia doesn't like something. So a timeout called, I believe, by Fremont. And I think that may be the first of their first of the half, and I think it is. Still no score here. With the Firebirds with what may be the longest possession so far in this game. A lot of it done by their running game, not so much by the passing, but then the Eagles haven't been able to get a whole lot done with their passing game either. It's called opening day, and that is high school football for you. This game is being played in just about ideal circumstances. We haven't quite hit the fall equinox yet, but it is bright, it is sunny, just a little bit of breeze. The going is firm underfoot, absolutely no sign of rain. The field's in great condition. You couldn't want better physical conditions for an opening game for both these teams. I suppose the Firebirds might like it if they were playing on their own field, but other than that, can't ask for anything more. A little bit of a conversation going on the field now. Now they come to the line. Out of the shotgun. And he's flush from the pocket, and he's going to try to run it, and he does get away, and he gets the first down, and a little bit more. He's still going. He brings that down to within the 25-yard line of Los Altos. And the Los Altos secondary, slow to react on that one. So Arcia showing that he's got some legs under him as well. They brought it into, it's marked at just at the 25-yard line. Now in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And he looks like he's going to try to run it again. No, he's flush from the pocket, and he just throws it away. Everybody out of position on that one. He was just doing the best he could under those circumstances. And there's a marker down. And one of the Fremont players having a conversation with the referee. Actually, that's Arcia that was having that conversation. But we're going to see what the call is. Mateo de Silva White coming into the game now for the Eagles. And Hayden Klisch coming out. And yeah, apparently they got Arcia for throwing that one away. That's intentional grounding, and that's a no-no. So 1st and 15 now for the Firebirds. They're still in Eagle territory. Handoff. That's to Echeverria. And the senior running back. Short gain there. And they're going to mark it, I think, at the Eagle 32. 3rd and long for the Firebirds. But this could be their best chance so far to get this ball into the end zone. All right. A little bit of an easy early delivery there. Long one, and no. Great attempt there. Great effort by Michael Ferrantino, but he didn't quite come down with it. And I don't see any flags there, so apparently that was cleanly done. So what's Fremont going to do now? That may be long. That may be too long for a field goal, or it may be inside the kicker's range. We don't know. And Fremont's going to take a minute and talk about it. It's a dilemma for coaches, I'll tell you that. But it gives Los Altos a little bit of a time to reconnoiter, figure out what they're going to do. The Los Altos defense hasn't been tested quite like this. Of course, this is the opening game, but even in scrimmage, they may not have faced this kind of opposition. Fremont has spent their second time out, so they got one left in the half. And we're down to a little more than 3 minutes left in the half. All right, both teams have probably, it seems to me that they've finished their conversation, so they're headed back to the line now. Well, if Fremont's going to kick it, they don't look like they are. Nope, they're going to take that 4th down. So here we go, 4th down. Out of the shotgun. And he's flushed out of the pocket, trying to extend the play. Throws it over the middle and out of the hands of his receiver. That was Make Tulakitao. Was not quite able to hold on to that. And the Eagles come up again. And they are. Los Altos has been very lucky when it comes to turnovers. They just haven't been very lucky when it comes to scoring points. But then neither have the Firebirds. So it's been a struggle. And it's not out of disrespect for either of these offenses, but out of great respect for both of these defenses, because each one has stopped the other offense thus far in the going. So now the Eagles with another possession. High snap there. Hidalgo takes it, throws over, and he's got a receiver there. And Juan Marin Mello redeeming himself for a long gain. And had he not been tripped up, he would have gone to the house. That may be the longest pass play all day on either side. And the Eagles are on the move with just under 3 minutes to play. And they're deep in, almost in the red zone. And Rocky fumbles the snap. He's able to get a hold of it, but he's going to take a loss on that play of a bunch. Now we're looking at, they're marking it at the Firebird 37-yard line. That's a loss of around 10 yards. I can't tell. No, they're marking it as 10 yards, so they're going to call it a 2nd and 20. So now Los Altos is maybe catching their breath a little bit, realizing what they're dealing with.
Los Altos has been less good, and therefore, with that snap, the ball gets on the Los Altos 37. Los Altos got second and about 25 yards now.
Hidalgo takes the snap, and somebody didn't like what they saw. I think maybe somebody jumped. It didn't get very far, so my sense is that somebody moved when they should. Yep, that's going to be a false start against the offense. And that's got to be disappointing. So Los Altos now looking at a 2nd and 25. Maybe as many as 28. Anyway, a long ways, and that is going to kind of wipe out what looked to be an excellent drive, at least with that opening pass to Marin Mello. So now Trevor Pruitt's going to have to do some offensive calculus here, see what he wants to do, as we're down with less than 2 minutes to go in the half. Hidalgo, handoff. Parker is going to get a little bit of that back. They're going to get down to maybe the 31, maybe the 32. Clock is still going. Coming to about, and the clock stopped at 1:35 now in the half. And Los Altos takes a timeout there, which probably they should have done because they were within striking distance, and now between penalties and miscues and bad snaps, they find themselves out of field goal range and not near the red zone. So what they're going to do now, this may be their last chance in the first half to try to make something happen.
Okay, we lost 4 seconds. Okay, so we'll delay 4 seconds. Okay. I just added 4 seconds. We added 4 seconds. I just added 4 seconds.
Some confusion about exactly how much time is left on the clock, but it is still under 2 minutes, and that means that Los Altos is going to have to be very, very careful about how they manage the clock, and that is always the trick as you're in the last few minutes of either half. I think it's probably a little bit more important in the last 10 minutes of the game, but clock management, particularly when you're in a game that, for lack of a better term, is close, only because they're tied at 0. Both teams are. What are they going to do here? All right, the Eagles come to the line. 2 wide receivers on the left, 1 on the right. 1 man in the, and somebody jumped. And they're pointing at Jason Garcia there. That's another 5 yards that Los Altos is going to be pushed back. Jason Garcia, if I saw that correctly, number 79, he's a senior. But they come to the line again. See what they can do. Hidalgo takes the snap, stays in the pocket, is up, and it's picked off. And they weren't be able to get a run back. The Firebirds were not, because they knocked into their own guy, but they were able to come away with an interception almost at the goal line. Pretty impressive defense there, and probably a throw that Rocky Hidalgo wants back because he didn't get that one. That would be the second time in 2 games between the scrimmage and this one that the Firebirds have able to get an interception deep in their own territory. At the scrimmage they did earlier this week, it was Gabriel Diaz Jr., number 13. And this one, I'm not sure who it was, but they dodge another bullet. And now with 1:32, the Firebirds have new life. Takes the snap, and it's a running play. And it's Maake Tulakitau, and he comes up with a short gain there. It would appear that Fremont's not overly concerned about getting points on the board before halftime. They're letting this one go, and they're going to their ground game. As the time ticks down to about a minute left in the first half. They should be able to get at least 2 more plays off, but let's see how concerned they are about that. Out of the shotgun. Swing pass now. And he's tackled at the 25 for a little bit of a gain. That's to Lakitau again. 42 seconds on the clock. And apparently it is a first down now. But Fremont may be able to get 1 more play off, but it doesn't look like they're in any hurry to try to get in the end zone. They're going to take it into the locker room and try to figure out what to do in the last 24 minutes of this contest. Getting 1 more play off. Taking the snap. Able to stay in the pocket, and it's dropped by the receiver. Although he was well covered. I think there were 3 opposing cornerbacks or defenders, maybe a couple of safeties that were in there. 19 seconds now left on the clock, so Fremont should be able to get 1 more play off. Although, if they had made that completion, they'd be in much better shape than they are now. Ball spotted at about the 24 or the 25-yard line. And we'll see if Fremont is going to try to make 1 more shot at getting into Eagle territory. 4 wide receivers, 1 setback. Rolling to his right, flag down. Rolling and long pass, and it is picked off by the Eagles. And they do get a bit of a run back there, and a big run back. Number 7, and he is gone. Touchdown, Los Altos. And that pickoff was by Auigust, an outside linebacker that we've seen as a running back, and he takes it to the house for the Eagles as time comes very close to running out. There was a flag on the play. If it's against Fremont, they will decline that. Neither team leaving just yet. Not quite sure. Certainly a great job evading tackles, no matter how you slice it there, by the Eagles. And the Eagles are walking back toward their territory. And it looks like that run back and that touchdown is going to be negated. It looks like Fremont may get 1 more shot at this. Time did expire during the run back. Ball placed right around the 11-yard line right now of the Firebirds. Let's see what the referee has to say. It is holding. And it is against the Firebirds. The Eagles are going to decline the penalty. But are we going to allow... Are they going to allow that touchdown? Still no sign on the scoreboard. Fremont's walking off the field, so they know they're headed to their locker room in any case, but doesn't look like there's going to be 1 more play. The only question is, did the Eagles get the 6? Trevor Pruitt having a conversation. And the Eagles do get the touchdown. So they're headed into their second half, both teams, and the first half is over, and the Eagles do get the 6 points. Now,
Correction, not since with 15 on the clock.
now they've taken the touchdown off the scoreboard. Well, I never. But Fremont has left the field. Now the Eagles have left the field. But they want 15 seconds on the clock.
Is that good?
Now we put 15 seconds back on the scoreboard clock, but does this mean they're going to call the teams back out again after getting them into their locker room already? It hardly would seem fair. Well, we'll figure it out. But in any case, the teams have left the field. We'll be back at least in a moment to see what happens with this touchdown, or maybe just the second half here at Tom Burt Field. KMVT Sports would like to thank our sponsor, Altos Mobile Massage. Massage can change your mental and physical state and inspire you to give power and energy to solutions. Altos Mobile Massage brings the massage to you. Sometimes a little pressure is a good thing. Well, we're back here at Tom Burt Field after a very dramatic ending to what was otherwise a very quiet first half. For those of you that missed it, what happened was this. Fremont had the ball deep in its own territory with about 12-15 seconds on the clock. They then threw a pass that was intercepted by a Los Altos player and taken to the house. So, broke the plane of the goal. It looked as if Los Altos had scored 6 points. Then, after a lot of discussion by the referees, it was determined that there were penalties on both sides, either before or during the run back. So those penalties offset, time expired, and we are still looking at a 0-0 score between Los Altos and Fremont as we head into the third quarter. That was a dramatic series of events that I have never seen before, and I don't know if I will ever see again in any level of football. But be that as it may, we are back at Tom Burt Field, and we'll be starting our third quarter festivities in just a moment or two. Neither offense was really able to overcome the work of the other defense. And as I said earlier, it's not out of disrespect for the offenses, but out of great respect for both these defensive squads. Los Altos did come away with more turnovers. I think there were at least 3, perhaps 4, that the Eagles managed to get as a result of Fremont mistakes or miscues, although Los Altos did give up the ball on downs at least twice during the first quarter, or the first half, rather. Fremont, for its part, had some running game going as the second quarter wound down with some short gains. Neither team was really able to get a passing game going. And, of course, the interception at the very end of the half sort of proved that very profoundly. But here we are back at Tom Burt Field. It's going to be the Eagles and the Firebirds, 1 to go. Both teams are back on, and you've just heard the Eagles break their huddle. And I believe Fremont will be kicking off, headed north this time. Just hearing from my spotter that we may be starting the second half with a 5-yard penalty, which is when one of those penalties was going to be imposed from the first half. So yet more interesting happenings in the opening game of the high school football season here at Los Altos High School. You can see over there, that's the Fremont team getting ready for this second half. And then you can see the neighborhood of Los Altos High School. There are the Los Altos Eagles with their head coach, Trevor Pruitt. With his back to us there is Isaiah McPherson. He's one that this broadcast journalist had a chance to teach last year. Great student, a lot of fun teaching him. And the Firebirds are back onto the field. They're getting ready for a kickoff, and here come the Eagles. So we're just about set to go for this second half.
Okay, welcome back to the second half. Fremont Firebirds versus Los Altos Eagles. Los Altos, because it was late to the 3-minute mandatory warm-up, was being assessed a 5-yard penalty.
So it turns out that the 5-yard penalty being assessed on the Eagles is because they were late to get to the 5-minute or to the 3-minute warm-up, as the California Interscholastic Federation has dictated. But now we're just about ready to go. And the kickoff goes, and it's fielded from behind the 5-yard line. And Parker managed to get it out to about the 20 or the 21-yard line. And that'll bring up a 1st down and 10 for the Eagles in their first possession of this second half. Rocky Hidalgo, the starting quarterback, coming back out onto the field.
Los Altos begins the second half, 1st and 10 on their own 23-yard line.
That's Owen Pastel with him. Or Pastel's coming off now. He's replaced by Sam Aoki. Still looking at pretty good weather today. The sun is definitely out. And the snap kind of high. And a quick handoff there. Around the right end. I think he picked up about 5 on the play.
Nice recovery, Los Altos.
And that ball may have gotten loose, but Los Altos retains possession. And they did pick up 5 yards on that, so here comes Rocky Hidalgo again.
8-yard line now. Second down.
Los Altos almost lost that one on the exchange between Hidalgo and the running back. Now we have the Aokis in motion. 2 setbacks. And that looked like a busted play from here. That'll bring up a 3rd and probably 5, maybe even 6. Well, make that a 3rd and 4. So again, Los Altos going to the ground game and getting minimal gains from that. And again, that says a lot about the Fremont defense. 2 wideouts to the left. Rocky takes the snap and in and out of the hands of the receiver and in and out of the hands of a cornerback or a defender. So almost picked off, and that one is one that Hidalgo probably would rather forget about because that's going to bring a 4th down and 7 deep in their own territory. I can't imagine the Los Altos isn't going to punt here. And the Eagles in punt formation. Lone receiver, that's number 3 for Fremont. That's Alexis Buenrostro. Back to receive the kick. And the referees throw a flag. And it looks like Los Altos is going to be pushed even further back. And that's Juan Marin Mello coming off the field, kind of wondering what just happened there. Maybe you've been called for the penalty. I don't know. There were too many players there. Snap. Here comes the kick, and it's almost blocked. Matter of fact, Fremont did get a piece of it, and it's going to roll to about the Fremont 47-yard line. So not bad field position for the Firebirds heading into their first possession of the second half. That's Brian or Briand Arcia. Still in at quarterback. That's Buenrostro off to the far right, nearest your screens. And Freddie Reyes is also there in the slot. Handoff there. And kind of a jumping tackle there with authority. And I'm not sure he got back to the line of scrimmage there. I think that may have been to Lakitau. And I don't believe he picked up anything. He may have lost a yard on that one. Out of the shotgun, 3 wide receivers on the right, and there's a give there at the line of scrimmage. And he's able to get around, and he has a lot of room to run, and he gets down to just about the Los Altos 30. And that was Tulikitau, that's right. Big pickup there for the Firebirds. I don't see any flags on the plane, so that is going to be a clean run. Big pickup of about 20 yards. Maybe a little bit more, but in any case, they have their best field position of the half so far, and one of their best of the game, quite frankly, as that's spotted at about the Los Altos 29-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Firebirds. Again, a 3 wide receiver set on the left. 1 set back in there with Arcia. Arcia takes the snap, swing pass right out, and he is hit, and hit hard. That was Jacob Andrade, a junior, usually an offensive lineman, but he's brand new to the varsity this year. And he did pick up the swing pass, and I think he may have picked up maybe 2 yards on that. That'll bring up 2nd and 9, maybe 2nd and 8 for the Firebirds. Now 3 wide receivers to the left side. Takes the snap and a handoff. And he is gotten from behind. Great penetration there by the Eagle defenders. And that's Miguel Orozco Tejada there on the stop. He's new to the varsity. He's a junior, and he's a defensive lineman, and he moved almost as quickly as a cornerback on that one. So that brings up a 3rd and 6 now for the Firebirds. Again, a 3 wide receiver setup, 1 on the right, 3 on the left. Swing, look to do a swing pass. Now he's trying to get out of trouble, and he runs for it, and he's going to get the first down, and he is down at about the 11-yard line. First down, Fremont. I think it's spotted at the 12-yard line, and that'll be a 1st and 10, also 1st and goal now. As maybe during that halftime, Fremont has managed to find a crack in the armor of the Los Altos Eagles, which they have not done all day. Takes the snap, and now he's going to keep this one. And he's met right close to the line of scrimmage, and he's tackled out of bounds. Gang tackled there. That was Miguel Tepepa, a linebacking senior there. He was in on the tackle. There were others, and he's thrown for a loss there, so that'll take it back to about the Los Altos 14. Still well within field goal range, but it is a little bit of a setback for Fremont. So a good adjustment there. A tiny adjustment. It's a little thing, but sometimes in high school football, it is the sum of little things that make up a victory. And that's what maybe what the Los Altos Eagles are counting on this afternoon. 2nd and 12 now. Still going with that 3 wideout set, but they haven't done much throwing, but they're going to throw this time. Okay, and now Arcia going for it. He's going to keep it himself, and he's headed for daylight. And he got within the 5 at about the 4, maybe the 3-yard line. He may be short of the first down, or he may have gotten it. They're not moving the chains. I don't believe he... Oh, but they're bringing it back. There's a penalty down against the Firebirds. I didn't see the signal from the referee. Now I'll see it. As Keith Jackson would say, God rest his soul, we're going to get a little hold in here. And now, all the way back to the 28-yard line, and Fremont decides they want to talk about this a little bit. So Fremont takes a timeout. We have 6:46 left in the quarter. Referees making a little note in their journal here. You can see after 2.5 pretty good quarters of play, we still don't have any points on the board, although Los Altos would probably contest that idea, seeing as how they feel like they broke the plane of the goal in the first half. But as they say, you can't fight City Hall. And here come the Firebirds. Scoreboard has not indicated they were charged with a timeout, but I believe they have been. So it looks like a 2 wide receiver set this time off to the left. Out of the shotgun. And he's going to keep it again. And he's brought down probably at about maybe the 24, maybe the 25 of Los Altos. I think that may have been Arcia on the run there. So that brings up a 3rd and 24 for the Firebirds. And they may be just about in range for a field goal at this point. And that would be the first points of the game if they are able to carry it off. Now it's a more equalized setup. 2 wide outs or 1 in the slot on both sides. And a swing pass out, and it's dropped. I think it was Buen Rostro who had it and dropped it. And that will bring up a 4th down, and I think they may try to get the 3 on this one. In fact, I'm quite sure that they are. First field goal attempt today of the contest. Again, it is within the kicker's range. Holding. It's up. And it's good. And Fremont is on the board. After more than 2 quarters of fighting and scratching and clawing, have taken up a 3-point lead over the home team Los Altos Eagles. And Los Altos is going to have to figure out how to get that field goal and more back. They did come up short. The Firebirds really had good field possession, and then due to various and sundry miscues, mistakes, and mishandling of passes. They had several shots at the end zone that they could have taken, and in the end, they felt they'd better get the 3. So the Firebirds have a 3-0 lead when we're about halfway done with the third quarter. Now they're lined up to kick it away. Parker and Guzman waiting to receive the kick, and here it comes. Parker's got it, and he is stopped just short of the 30-yard line. And the Eagles will take over again. Let's see what they can get. And there's an Eagle player who seems to be slow in getting up. The players are going to be taking a knee pretty soon. All right, we've got a break in the action. We'll be back in a moment or two with the score. Fremont 3, Los Altos. We're back at Los Altos High School. The injured Eagle player making his way off, that's Auigust Guzman. And he's not liking what he's feeling right now at all. Looks like he's got something going on with his right leg, so he'll be taken care of shortly. We're back in the action. And here come the Eagles. 1st and 10, Rocky Hidalgo under center. Man in motion. He takes the snap, and the snap is muffed, and he's going to be able to and he managed to get away and made a nice gain of it. That is Dale Sims, the fullback. A botched snap, but he picked it up and ran with it and did so in such a way that nobody could catch him. So Los Altos just about at midfield right now. With a little over 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Here's the snap. Hidalgo was under center there. Ben Parker now running around the right side, and he's got the first and more as he's headed down, and he's down all within the 10-yard line, inside the 1st and goal. What a run there by Ben Parker around the right side. That's a gain of about 25, maybe 30 yards. 1st and goal for the Eagles, and this may be just about the best field position they've had all day today.
Again, this is some of the best field position Los Altos has seen today.
Marco de Silva White, or Mateo de Silva White, coming off the field. Now Hidalgo back in, as Los Altos may be sensing this could be their drive to go ahead. And they're playing out of the shade right now, which is fortunate that they have a big pine tree just a few feet away. Taking the snap, handed off there to Parker, and Parker picks up a couple there. Short yardage.
Short gain by Ben.
And that's going to be a 2nd and maybe 7. Second and goal. And now we find out how good Fremont's goal line defense is going to be, because they've certainly been good in the open field. Now in the red zone, they're going to be tested, particularly their run defense. Are they going to be able to stop Ben Parker, who is maybe the most important offensive cog for the Eagles now? And there's a toss out. And he's in. That's Dale Sims with the end run around the left side, and he is in. And they get the 6th, the first touchdown of the game, and it is scored by the Eagles. So whatever both coaches said to their respective teams during halftime, it worked, because now you have both teams with points on the board and Los Altos having the lead with the run by Dale Sims. Great job by the fullback. Now headed for the conversion. Mario Lopez, number 21, who doubles as a wide receiver and a cornerback, will try the extra point. And it's blocked. And that's Cobel Feliciano, a senior at 6'2" and 250 pounds, smothered that one and denied Los Altos the PAT. But Los Altos does maintain the lead, and they will be kicking the ball back off to the Firebirds very shortly. It's not often you see blocked point after touchdowns at any level of football, but it seems to me that that was a missed blocking assignment there by the offensive line, or by the special teams, if you will. Los Altos does have the advantage at this point, so now we're going to see what their defense can do. The defense has been pretty solid. They've held the Firebirds to a field goal, and they've done pretty well at containing the pass, although Fremont has gotten a fair amount of yards out of their running game. To receive for the Firebirds, I believe that may be Marcos de Leon. Oh, the receiver bobbled the pickup there. He was able to, and he's hit hard at around the 33-yard line. But the Firebirds do come out with decent positioning there. So the Firebirds will take over, and the ball is placed at about the 34-yard line.
So with that return, that's going to put Firebirds on their own 34-yard line.
Miguel Tepepa kind of looking at the sideline saying, what do you want me to do? But here come the Firebirds, so they've got it worked out at some way. Approaching the 3-minute mark here in the third quarter, and Los Altos is going to take a timeout. Some confusion there. That may have been what necessitated the timeout, was Tepepa looking at the sideline saying, excuse me, something here isn't right. As the Los Altos cheerleaders saying, go Big Blue. And indeed, they do want them to do that.
I want to give a special shout out to the Fremont Firebirds cheer squad coming all the way from Fremont to help support their team in the game.
It's an interesting story that the people who founded Mountain View Los Altos Union High School District, one of them was apparently a scholar of the Civil War and really liked the colors that were involved, blue for the Union and gray for the Confederacy. So that was one of the reasons that Los Altos eventually got the colors that they did. Of course, Los Altos had been the Knights for many years before that. But anyone who's been to Los Altos High School as a student or a teacher has only known them as the Eagles for at least the last 30 years or so. So there's a little local history for our KMVT viewers. But back to football. And Firebirds have it. 1st and 10 at their own 33 or 34-yard line. Takes the snap. Handoff there. And he rumbles down for a gain of about 4 or 5. That was Michael Ferrantino on the run there. That was number 12. He's a newcomer. Or no, I beg your pardon. He's a veteran for this. He is a senior. So Ferrantino making a great impression for this Firebird team. Under 3 minutes to play now in the third quarter. Out of the shotgun. And the quarterback's going to keep it this time. Acharia. And he's going to be wrestled out of bounds at about the 40. That was Arcia. Ben Parker was on the stop there. That's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 5. Great pass defense there for Los Altos as they got Arcia to scramble for that and probably forced him out of the pocket as he probably wasn't planning on doing it that quickly. So that brings up a 3rd down. Out of the shotgun, he's throwing a pass. There's a swing pass over to the right, and that is Tula Kitao, and he was wrapped up right away by the defense. There were some cornerbacks and probably a lineman in on that one. And it looks as if Fremont is going to punt it away. Ben Parker is going back to receive. It's number 4, Edgar Barajas. He's a senior cornerback, wide receiver, running back. Probably replacing the injured Ari Guzman. Whistles going all over the place. And it would appear that Fremont either jumped or didn't line up the way they wanted or had too many men on the field, so they're going to walk it back a few. So we'll try it again. And that may leave Los Altos with some excellent field position when they get this punt. Good snap, good penetration there, but he got the kick away. Okay, it bounces, and Barajas picks it up, and he's running with it around the right end. He got into Firebird territory, but there is a flag on the plane. And there's 2 flags now. We may now have offsetting penalties yet again. A little bit of impatience there on both sides. Right now the ball is lying at about the Firebird 48. And it's going to be walked off against Los Altos. And it looks to be fairly significant. That's about, and I think that may be a personal foul. And what they say is a personal foul never goes unpunished. So Los Altos, whomever committed that one, Trevor Pruitt's going to have a talking to. Because that's going to spoil what would have been some excellent, excellent field possession. Well, now they're bringing it back up, so... At about their 39. Now, when they do the history of this game, somebody's going to have to count up all these penalties and figure out who got what. There's just a lot to keep track of with this game. Now they come to the line. As the Eagles take possession again, Hidalgo is under center, and he shifts back to shotgun. Man in motion. A couple of people in motion, and you can't do that. That looked to be a false start, and it was. At least one false start. That may have been 2 false starts on that one. You had a man in motion, and somebody else decided, hey, maybe I'll follow him. But you can't do that in football. So that'll bring up a 1st and 15, and they're going to mark it at about the Los Altos 34 now. Hidalgo takes the snap, and a bullet pass in and out of the hands of Edgar Barajas. That was right on the numbers, and Barajas didn't get his arms up in time, so that's not going to sit well with them. That's going to bring up 2nd and 15. Ball still on the 34. Now Barajas coming out wide to the left. Looks to be the only wide out. There's no slot receiver. 2 setbacks, 1 tight end. And the tight end goes in motion. And back to pass and a screen, it looks like, to Parker. And Parker is able to take it, and he got up to about the 41, maybe the 42 before he was knocked out of bounds. So a little bit of a gain and makes getting that next set of downs a little bit more feasible. And the ball's going to be marked at about the 43-yard line. And that will leave him with about a 3rd and 6. Third down now. A lot of people in the backfield, and somebody jumped. And if that is counted against the Firebirds, that will make the 3rd down conversion just a little bit easier. And it looks like it may be. And it is offside against the Firebirds. And so they're going to walk that off, and that should bring up a very easy 3rd down conversion for the Eagles. As the Firebirds, who are trying to stay in this thing, give themselves a little bit of a shot in the foot, which is not what they wanted, when we have about 1 minute to go in the 3rd period, or 3rd quarter. And Los Altos wanting to build on this 3-point lead against a Fremont team that isn't used to losing, although they lost the last contest they played against these Eagles right here on this field just about 2 years ago. As the Los Altos fans getting into this one a little bit, and Hidalgo fumbles the snap. And it looks like Fremont says they have it. And that may bring up a 4th down, though, for the Eagles. So 4th and inches, and they are still in their own territory. They were very, very lucky to get that back. Now, I can't say that they wouldn't go for it under these circumstances, and it looks as though they are. So 4th down, they need inches. Los Altos has come to the line. Referees talking a little bit about what needs to happen. As we have under a minute to go, the game clock has stopped. And now the referee is going to have a little chat with the... All right. Clock needs to be corrected just a little bit.
Thank you. 25 seconds? Just 25 is what he said. Okay. We'll get it one of these times.
But it's going to be a 4th and 1 in any case. As the scoreboard and the official is trying to get together on how much time should be left on the clock here. 25 seconds. And here we go. And the ball is snapped, and they get it. Los Altos gets that first down with authority. That was Dale Sims on the run there. He picked up probably what he needed plus about 4 more. As the third quarter comes to an end. With the score, Los Altos 6, Fremont 3. We'll be back with the fourth quarter very shortly. Back at Tom Burt Field, we're just starting the fourth quarter as Rocky Hidalgo gets a handoff to number 26 to Dale Sims, and Dale Sims is gone. Touchdown, Eagles. And we got back just in time for you to see that as Rocky Hidalgo got a handoff to Dale Sims, who had a hole big enough to drive a tank through. And he got all the way in. And Los Altos now with a 9-point lead, pushing for a 10th point, and that is maybe the play of the game right there. Great work there by the offensive line of the Eagles, opening up a hole maybe for the first time against a very solid Firebird defense. And it's a touchdown for the Eagles as we're just getting started with the fourth quarter. A superb run there by Dale Sims. Now it looks like they're going to be setting up for a 2-point conversion, and flags going all over the place. And I think somebody may have jumped, which would not be a surprise at this point. No. Okay, the Eagles taking up too much time. So they're going to move that back. They're going to have to try that again. And that may cancel the idea of the 2-point conversion. I think they might just go for the 1 now. Still, that's well within the range of a PAT. So they are going to line up to just get 1 point. That's Mario Lopez lining up to do the kicking. It's up. And another flag is down. Oh, my goodness. So it's now going to go back closer. So now Los Altos thinking maybe we want to do that 2-point conversion after all. Now, there have been a lot of penalties in this game. I've been hearing this from folks up here in the booth and people in the stands, but that's what you expect in the first game of a high school season, and they are going to go for just the 1 here. Lopez, it's up, and it's good. And Los Altos High School now with a 10-point lead, 13-3, over the Firebirds with just under 12 minutes to play. So we've still got most of this fourth quarter to go. And we're going to see if Fremont can come back from this. They do trail by 10 points, so 2 scores. But you can't count out any team in the Central Coast section from either the De Anza or the El Camino League. So whether or not they'll be able to come back from this still remains to be seen. But here come the Eagles. They're getting ready to kick it off. Mario Lopez, who just converted that extra point, will do the honors for the Eagles. Back to receive for Fremont. I believe that's Manny Maez, number 9.
Mario Lopez, the kicker.
And here comes Lopez, and there it goes. End-over-end kick, and that one bounces. Taken now by Mays. And he brings it back to about the 30-yard line. No, I beg your pardon. That was Alexis Buenrostro, although Mays was back to receive it. And so the Firebirds taking over again in their own territory with 11:44 to play in the fourth quarter. Now, the Firebird offense is now going to have to get it in gear like they haven't all day if they want to get back into this or stay in this. They're going to have to find a way to make their passing game work and how to make their offensive line be more effective against the rushing and the defense, or the rushing defense, rather, of the Eagles. And he takes the snap, and he's still trying to get away from it, and he does, and he's brought back, and he's down right at the marker at the 40-yard line, and I believe that was Brian Arcia that he managed to get out of that. It looks as if he may have made the first down on that. And they are going to move, or are they? No, they are. So it's going to be first down. No, I beg your pardon. It is second down and 2. And the players are taking a knee, so it looks like we may have an injury on the field. We'll take a timeout here. Back now at Tom Burt Field, that injury was ascertained, and so we're back into it here. Ball carrier there. I think it may have been no. And the official's timeout on that. I do believe that the Firebirds got the first down on that one, though. And we have another injury. I think it's an Eagle player this time.
Eagle player on the ground.
And we'll take a break. We'll be back with you as soon as we figure out what's up with this player. The injured player was Ben Parker for the Eagles. He did get off the field on his own power. So we're back with the Firebirds with the ball, 1st and 10. And there's a quick pass over to the right flat. And some yards after catch that may have been close to a 1st down there. And the ball is going to be spotted at about the Los Altos 45-yard line. Hayden Klisch coming back into the game now. Hayden Klisch, one of the best defensive tackles on this team. He'll probably line up on the left side. 2nd and 1 for the Firebirds. Snap, and the quarterback will keep it. And he manages to get through that defense. He's still going. He's headed for daylight. Did he get in? He did. And Fremont is back in this game with an amazing run around the left side by Brian Arcia. Coming in for the touchdown. And so now we have a ball game because now the Firebirds trying to make it a gap of just 2 if they go for 2 points, but it looks like they might be lining up for just the 1. Owen Pastel coming in to see if that kick can be blocked. And it's up. And yes, it's good. So now, with 10:23 left in the game, we have the Eagles with just a 3-point lead. And we have ourselves a horse race here at Tom Burt Field. So Los Altos not going to be able to go home with this one early. Of course, we've been here a while anyways, but they will not be able to phone it in for the rest of the game. They are going to have to come back hard, get some more points, and hold off the pesky Firebirds because they are not going away either. Ben Parker is back on the field now. And Ari Guzman's back also, so. Guy Zuck is also there. Guy, there's a lot of video on him. So let's see what the Eagles can do now. They're going to get the ball back with plenty of time on the clock. And a 3-point lead, but they're not going to be happy with that. As the whistle goes, and the Firebirds kick it off, and here we go. Parker, he's got to hold on to that. He picks it back up. And he gets past the 20. He's still going, and he'll be out of bounds at around the 25, maybe the 26. I think that was Manny Mays that was there on the stop. And the Eagles will take over. And considering that there was a bobbled attempt when Parker originally got that attempt, or that kick, not bad. So good things do happen. First and 10 now for the Eagles. Hidalgo with the handoff to Parker. Parker coming around the left side. He's still going. Nice blocking there. And he picked up 3 or 4 there. Just about 10 minutes to go. And now the clock becomes a factor for the rest of the game.
Was actually found on the bleachers, but it's in the snack shack
So here come the Eagles. As the clock now is running down to about the 10-minute mark. And so now, again, clock is going to be a factor. Hidalgo under center. And hands it off. And that's Guzman. And Guzman running along the right side. He's still going. He spins around. He got away. And he's down at about the 29-yard line of the Firebirds. First down and a great big gain for the Eagles by Ari Guzman, who limped off the field earlier in the contest and has come back with a vengeance. And the Eagles not wasting any time. Hidalgo calling for the snap. He gets it. Now he's back to pass. Stays in the pocket. And beautiful pass there to Parker. And Parker is in. Touchdown, Eagles. And they're able to get it just like that. In a drive of about 3 plays, the Eagles answer back loud. And still with 9.5 minutes to go. So this is still anybody's football game. They are going to go for just one here. And it's up. And yes, it's good. So the Eagles build their 10-point lead back up with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in regulation. And now Fremont, once again, having to see how deep their bag of tricks is as time becomes a little bit more of a factor. They are down by 2 scores. Now, we've seen that they can come back in short order. We've also seen that Los Altos hits back and hits back hard. So with 9:30 to play, it's still anybody's football game. Lopez going to be making the kick. The whistle goes. And there they go. End over end kick. And fielded at about the 20. Okay. And the runner. That was Buenrostro on the return. And I think he got it out to about the 38. So not a bad return there, and the Firebirds are back in business with 9:23 to go. And here we go. That's Arcia waiting for the snap. He gets it. Handoff now. Gain there, if anything. To Lakitau. I think that was just a gain of 1, maybe 2. And we have another injured player down on the field. So we're going to take a moment here and let that player be tended to. We'll be back in a moment. It is 2010 Los Altos. That was Maake Tulakitu, who was down for the Firebirds, being helped off the field. He's had a heck of a day for the Firebirds. We'll see whether he's back or not. But the Firebirds carry on as it's approaching the 9-minute mark. And they've got a 2nd and 9 that they're facing at about their own 40-yard line. Arcia takes the snap, rolling back. He's in the shotgun. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to have to move to his right, and he throws. And that is caught, but is it going to be in? The Eagles think it was out. And great reception, but it was not in bounds, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 9. So this may be the game right here for the Fremont Firebirds. They're going to need to get at least 9, or they're in a very bad position, and they may very well have to give up the football here. And if the Eagles score again, that may be the nail in the coffin. Takes the snap. Now he's being flushed, and he gets away from one, and he's not going to go down, but he pitches. So he manages to get into number 24, who's running around. There's a flag on the play. Elijah Echeverria got that just as Archio was heading down. There's a Los Altos injury on the field, and a flag was thrown. So Fremont is going to take a penalty on that. And that is going to back the Firebirds up all the way to their own 24-yard line. So what was a tough circumstance to begin with for these Fremont Firebirds keeps on getting worse or more difficult. We'll step aside for just a moment. We'll come back to the last 8.5 minutes of this game. It's 2010 Eagles. So the Fremont Firebirds, with their backs to the wall here, facing a 3rd and 24 from their own 24-yard line. With less than 9 minutes to go in the game. And now the quarterback's flushed. He's being pursued. He gets away. He's running out on the right end, and incomplete pass. Was it cleanly defended? I think it was. The ball was intercepted, but it would appear to be out of bounds, so Fremont may retain the ball, but they've still got a 24-yard deficit to make up just to get a new set of downs. With 8:14 left to go in the contest. Well, if you are Adam Harold, you got a decision to make. Do you want to go for the win and maybe risk the health of some more of the players? There have been an awful lot of people down for injuries. Or do you kick it away and hope that your defense can do their job so that you can get the ball back against this Los Altos defense? It's a dilemma. Well, we'll see what they're going to do. So that was ruled an incomplete pass. Fremont would probably have retained possession in any case, but here we are. And it looks as if Fremont is going to kick it away. And that is a fraught decision, so we'll see if that is one that they will regret or whether it'll pay off for them. And the kick is a line drive kick, and it's recovered very deep in territory and spinning, and that is Edgar Barajas, who managed to field the kick, which I think went off the helmet of a lineman. And Los Altos is now within the 20-yard or maybe the 30-yard line, all the way to the 15-yard line. I beg your pardon. So now Fremont may regret that punt, but they're not going to regret it for the reason we were thinking. Because now the Eagles, without having to do very much at all, have the advantage and are in position to put this game out of reach as the game clock winds down to just over 8 minutes to go. And it's 1st and 10 in the red zone. Hidalgo under center. He pitches it out to Guzman, and Guzman's dropped for a loss. I think he lost about 2 or 3 on that one. So the Firebirds stiffening. They will not break, although at times this defense is bent back on itself. But the clock is continuing to roll. We have under 8 minutes to go now. And Los Altos taking its time, maybe realizing that 10 points is still 10 points. Now Hidalgo under center, takes the snap, hands it off now, and Parker is thrown for another loss, and that one's all the way back to the 26 to the 27. Big setback as the Firebird defense again draws blood. And they're able to push the Eagles back a little further. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 15, although they still do have a pretty good chance at getting another 3. That would make it a 13-point lead. Of course, Fremont could come back with 2 touchdowns. But now they've got less than 7 minutes to work with. Parker going in motion over to the left side. Hidalgo is under center. And he goes back to pass, stands in the pocket, flag down, and now he's running. He's keeping it, and he's going to go down at about the 12-yard line. We'll see what that flag is about, and it is holding against the Eagles, so they're going to walk that one back. So that's got to be disappointing, but it's another break for this Firebird defense that is stiffening as they realize that they may be facing an insurmountable deficit if Los Altos gets in the end zone here. But now Los Altos looking at a 3rd and 30. And they may be out of field goal range at that point. And if the Firebirds can take over on downs, they may have a shot at this thing. So this is a big 3rd down we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Hidalgo takes the snap. He stands in the pocket. Long throw over to the right side. It's caught. And Sam Aoki in the end zone. Touchdown, Los Altos. And that might just about do it, as Aoki was wide open. Hidalgo was looking for him all the way. Fremont couldn't react to it. And they're going to go for the point after. And now Fremont now looking at 3 scores that they'd have to get into this, with pushing 6 minutes, and it's a line drive kick, and that is through the uprights. So now it's a 27-10 Los Altos lead with 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to play. Now, that is not to say that Fremont is out of this. They still have a way to get back into this game, but they are now running out of time. They do have 3 timeouts. They're going to have to be more productive, especially in their pass game, than they have all afternoon. And they're probably going to have to hope for a little bit of help from Lady Luck. And that may come in the form of penalties, or it may come in the form of Los Altos players missing assignments. In any case, it's going to be a long road up for the Fremont Firebirds with 6:10 to go. But it will be interesting to watch. Mario Lopez will be making the kick once again. He's been busy today. Here comes Lopez for the kick. And off it goes. And a little bit of confusion about who was going to receive that, but Fremont gets it, and the runner slips at about the 26. That was, I think that was Buenrostro on the return, and he brings it out to about the 26 before he slips up, and Los Altos is all over him. We're down to about the 6-minute mark, and this may be the best last chance for Fremont to get into it, and there's another flag down. We're going to see what that flag is all about. It is against the Eagles. And that's an unsportsmanlike conduct. That's the first time that's been called against either team. But it's going to be offset by a penalty against the Firebirds. But that unsportsmanlike is something that will get a player ejected if he's not careful. So now the Firebirds pretty much back where they expected to be at their own 26. Still just over 6 minutes to play. And now the Firebirds are going to have to reach very deep into a bag of tricks, the depth of which is not yet known, as they are just starting out, as are the Los Altos Eagles. So we'll see what they can pull off here. So here come the Firebirds. 1st and 10. And what do we have? I think we have a timeout called on the field. Okay, so Fremont's going to take a timeout, and so will we. With about 6 minutes to play, the score remains Eagles 27, the Fremont Firebirds 10. We'll be back. We're back at Tom Burt Field. Fremont has the ball back with about 6 minutes to work with, down 17 points. Takes the snap, and he's keeping it himself, and he goes right up the gut, and nice gain for Fremont. Sort of up the gut and sort of up the middle. And that'll bring up a first down. They have 2 timeouts, but they have less than 6 minutes to play with. And the clock is running. So the Firebirds now have to think clock. It's not just the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles have the advantage of having 17 points under their belt.
1st and 10 Fremont.
And he's keeping it again, runs over to the right side. He didn't get very much on that one.
This time, not as much success.
He may have even taken a loss on that one.
Looks like he may have a little bit of a loss on that. By a couple yards, that's going to bring up 2 and 12 for Fremont.
And the defense of Los Altos stiffened on that one because they realized what was being done to them again, and that draw play is one you have to use sparingly against the Los Altos Eagles, and we just found out why. Now, someone was about to take a trip off. That was Jose Carlos Palacios, but he's back now. Out of the shotgun. Whole bevy of wide receivers. He stands in the pocket. Now he's being flushed. He's going to try to extend the play. And he may or may not have even gotten back to the line of scrimmage on that one. The reception, that is. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 as the clock continues to roll. We're down to 5 minutes now. Ball is spotted at the Fremont 40 or maybe the 39. 3rd and 10 now for the Firebirds.
3rd and 10.
And Los Altos is going to take a timeout now, realizing that perhaps there's a trick up the sleeve of the Fremont Firebirds. So we'll step aside for just a minute while they get that sorted out. We'll see you back for the conclusion of the game in just a moment. Back here live at Tom Burt Field at Los Altos High School. The Fremont Firebirds have 3rd and 10 now with less than 5 minutes to play. They take the snap, and the handoff is there. No, he keeps it. And he looks like he's running to daylight, and he has scored. And Fremont refuses to go quietly as Brian Arce all the way down, something like a 60-yard run to keep the Firebirds alive with 4.5 minutes to play. And the gap closes again. So after an incredibly slow first half, the second half of this football game has turned out to be a seesaw battle of the defenses and now a battle of the offenses. In a game that has been beset by penalties and injuries and setbacks, now it's turned into a scoring bonanza. And what a great way for both teams to kick off this season. With 4.5 minutes to go, the Firebirds are going to go for a point after. So now, setting up for the point after, Freddie Reyes, number 88, setting up to kick the PAT. And the kick is up, and somebody jumped on that one. Whistles went just after the ball was snapped. So we're going to see what happened here. And it's offside against the Eagles. So that may go half the distance, but in any case, they're going to kick that one again. It'll make things a little bit easier for Freddie Reyes. Although that one was pretty decisive, I don't mind telling you. So we're going to go and do it again. High snap, the kick is up. And yes, it's good. So Fremont draws to within 10. 4.5 minutes left in this thing. And the Firebirds of Fremont are refusing to go quietly in this contest. As I indicated earlier, this game started off to being a very slow affair. There was no score during the first 2 quarters, and both teams have just absolutely come alive with a barrage of 44 points during just this second half. Los Altos with a 10-point lead right now, but as we have found out just in this 4th quarter, both of these teams can move the football and move it fast. So this may end up to be an exciting finish here at Tom Burt Field tonight. There's the Eagles. Now, the Eagles haven't played these Fremont Firebirds in very close to 2 years now, and the last time they played, they came out ahead 51-16. Well, the Firebirds have already exceeded that point total, and they're much closer than they were back in October of 2016. So now Los Altos. How are they going to play? Are they going to play to win? Or are they just going to play not to lose? We'll find out in the next 5 minutes. Reyes lining up. And Barajas back for the Eagles to receive the kick. Here comes Reyes's kick. Very short one. Los Altos grabs it. It was a squib kick. And they'll end up on their own 37, although the man taking that kickoff got hit and hit hard. But Los Altos got it, and that was what they wanted to do. So now Los Altos is going to have to play clock management, and they're not going to be able to make too many mistakes. Their field possession is okay, but if Fremont were to get possession of this and score again, the Eagles would be in danger of letting this one slip out. So here they come. 1st and 10. There's 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in this one. Hidalgo dancing around, making sure that his offense is set. The ball is snapped. Hand off to Parker. Parker didn't get much on that one. Made a heck of an effort coming around the right end. I think there may have been some missed blocking assignments on that one. And Parker looks like he may have banged himself up a little bit. He came out of the game earlier. So he's probably going to need some aspirin tonight. That's Barajas going out to the far left side of the offense. 2 men in the backfield. Hidalgo takes the snap. Handoff. It's up the gut run. Gain of 2, maybe 3 on that one. And that was Edgar Barajas on that one. 3rd and 8 coming up now for the Eagles. And the Eagles need to get this converted. Now with the game clock winding down to around 3 minutes to go, if they can get a first down, they would be in a great position to just wind this one up. Los Altos has 1 timeout left. The Firebirds have 2. Tight end in motion, that's Parker. Parker gets the handoff. No, I beg your pardon, that's Barajas. He's out to about the 41, and that will leave Los Altos with a 4th and maybe 7 or 6. And the clock is stopped with 2:34. And Fremont takes its next to last timeout, realizing that they're in a position to get the ball back. And there's a Los Altos player having a spirited conversation with one of the referees right now. That's Owen Conway, senior wide receiver, free safety cornerback. And now the officials having a little bit of a gathering themselves. There is Tonga Ketty down there, who, of course, played for the Los Altos Eagles and then transferred to the College of San Mateo, but is a Los Altos Eagle at heart. Also someone that I had the pleasure of teaching a couple of years back. But here come the Eagles one more time. All right, we're putting a couple more ticks back on the clock here. Here come the Firebirds. Each team has 1 timeout now. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in this one. And it looks like the Eagles are going to boot this away. And let's see how their special teams do, and let's see how their defense does, if they can snuff out any attempt made by the Firebirds to bring this one closer. And this one is partially blocked. And Fremont gets it. Their rushers got a piece of it, and I believe they have the ball on the 42-yard line of the Eagles with 2:34 to go.
That's going to put Fremont in a much better field position.
So now we'll see. The Los Altos defense wasn't counting on having to defend in their own territory, but that's exactly what they're facing right now. As Fremont got some great penetration, and they got part of that. So their deep receivers, whomever they were, had...
Long throw by Blaine, looking in the backfield, and it is touchdown by Fremont. Very good catch by Fremont. Freddie Reyes on that reception. Freddie's also going to get the PAT. 10.
Block that kick, Eagles block that kick. Block that kick, Eagles block that kick. Block that kick.
PAT is good. That's going to bring Fremont within striking distance of Los Altos, 27-24 with 2 minutes left on the clock. Each team has one timeout left.
Said about this game, though.
Auigust in the backfield, but obviously Los Altos anticipating onside kick.
Let's see what Fremont's going to do. They may be lining up for another onside kick. That's worked well for them before.
And the penalty flags fly.
I think somebody was in the wrong place at the wrong time on that one. We'll see what the referees have to say about this.
Encroachment. That's going to move them back 5 yards. And put them on the 35-yard line.
So Reyes backing up and trying to get it.
That one goes 10 yards. Fair catch by Los Altos.
Los Altos will get it. I believe that was Sam Aoki that came up with that one.
Sam Aoki.
And so the Eagles will take it over at about their 40-yard line.
On their own 41-yard line.
So
2 minutes left in this game.
Can Los Altos hold on without making a mistake, without putting the ball back to this suddenly surging Firebird team?
First and 10 Eagles. Handoff to 7, Auigust. And he was brought down very quickly by Jonathan DeLuna. A little loss on, that's going to leave Los Altos 2 and 12 yards. Clock continues to run.
Fight, Eagles fight. Blue and white. Fight, Eagles fight. Blue and white. Fight, Eagles fight. Blue and white.
Handoff again.
Eagles fight.
Similar result.
Fight, Eagles
This one is Auigust.
fight. Fight, Eagles fight. Blue and white. Fight, Eagles fight.
Clock still runs. There we go. Single for timeout, last timeout.
And this will be the last timeout
Charged
taken by
to Fremont.
Fremont, but Fremont's taking a knee, so they may have a hurt player.
Yeah, actually, we should say that the timeout, we're not sure if that's a charge timeout or a injured
It
player
does not
timeout.
appear to be an official timeout, but
That's an
or
official
a called
timeout.
timeout. But one of the tackles for Los Altos has just
All
come
right,
in
so Fremont still has one timeout left, correction.
as Hayden.
Clock starts again. 50 seconds left. Third down.
You're not using wide.
And it gets whistled, and now Los Altos takes its final timeout. 38 seconds, and Trevor Pruitt wants to talk to his team.
Last stand for both teams. We'll step aside while we have this last timeout for the Eagles. 27-24. Don't you dare go away for the ending of this one. And we're back for the conclusion of this one, ladies and gentlemen. Third and 11.
A little bit of a bobble to 9. Ben Parker holds on to it. Clock still runs. Fourth down, about 14 yards.
Los Altos looks like they're just going to let this clock roll and
Looks like Los
roll,
Altos
and that's going to wrap it up.
run.
What happened?
And with that,
Los Altos holds on to win 27-24 in their season opener here at Tom Burt
it's a
Field.
well-fought competition
As
against
a
the
game
Fremont
that went
Firebirds.
for a
Thank you for
long
tuning
time,
in this
had a
game.
lot of
Please
penalties,
join
a
us
lot of
next
injuries,
Saturday
but a win is a win, and Los Altos comes away with it.
for our next home game here.
So Los Altos won?
Yeah, 27-24.
Oh, 27-24, yeah.